Alright, so I'm back and I'm here to talk to you about Monarch Legacy of Monsters Season 2. So Monarch Legacy of Monsters is a spin-off from the Monsterverse. We had Godzilla in 2014 from Gareth Edwards, fantastic film. I basically love all of those films, even though it's, kind of like taking a different direction in the last two films, a little bit more goofy, but I still love them. So big fan of the universe. The first season was a little bit of a letdown for me. Some of the issues I had with the pacing, the characters, and not enough Godzilla. So let's talk about season 2. Let's just dive right into it. I think it's an improvement over the first season in many ways, although it runs into some of the same issues I had with the first season. It's dragging at times. It can be unfortunately boring at some moment. Not all of the human characters are interesting, and I just feel like it could have been a little shorter and maybe have a little bit more kaijus in it. So what I liked about it very much, first of all, Titan X is fucking awesome. I really love what they did with this Titan, and it kind of reminds me of the 1990s animated series from Godzilla, where you have like a monster of the week. I wish it was more episodic like that. It's not the case, but it's kind of like one of those episodes stretched out into a season. So that's why I have some issues with it. First of all, like I said, too many characters. We have Lee Shaw. We have Lee Shaw from the past, Lee Shaw from the present. We have Kay. We have Billy. We have Billy's son in the past, Billy's sons in the present. We have Billy's grandchildren. We have May. We have that girl from Apex. We have that guy from Monarch, and we follow all of them like separately in some cases, and it becomes very difficult to get engaged with the storyline and where it's going. So to that effect, by the way, I love the fact that they're going from the past to present. In this season, it works a lot more than the previous one. The flashbacks are really, really interesting. They do find a way to push the narrative forward. And some of the things that happen in the first few episodes, it's in a fishing village, and it's kind of where you get introduced to Titan X. I absolutely adore those sequences. So that's something I really loved about it, and that was an improvement, because for the first season, when I was watching all the people, like the human characters talking and talking and talking, it would get actually boring, which I hate to say this about the thing about Godzilla. I'm a huge fan of Godzilla, and I know it's not always the monsters that needs to be on the forefront, but it becomes very tedious when it's always like non-stop conversation and plot devices that goes absolutely nowhere. So that's something that kind of like bothered me with this old Monarch thing. But when the kaijus come in, it delivers. And it was the same thing with the first season, but I feel like we got a little bit more action in that one. But don't expect too much Godzilla in this, but we do have Kong, we see Godzilla. I'm not gonna say much about that, but they're there. And Titan X, there's some interesting things that they do with this Titan that, once again, I cannot spoil, but I really loved the action sequences. And just to go back on this, the visual effects are vastly superior to the previous season. I feel like they put more money into that, and there are some sequences, like all the setups and everything are fantastic in it. So I really love what they do over there. Also, I love the fact that it goes underwater. I always love me some some monster from the sea. So loved all of that. But also visually, I feel like there's a lot of improvement in terms of how it's filmed. I love the color management. I really love how it's being shot. Sometimes in terms of the depth of field, they really put some interesting shots every now and then, so that when those people, their characters that you sometimes don't necessarily care about, are talking, it's actually pretty to look at. I'll just say that. The only problem I had is like it's a little bit too stale. Like always, like camera is fixed and there's someone talking with the rule of third, and then you know exactly where they're gonna go. So it becomes a little boring at times. I keep saying that, but unfortunately, I feel like it was dragging at some moments. But at the end of the day, I really liked it a lot more than the first season. The kaiju action, absolutely adore that. I really love what they did in terms of that. But yeah, I keep talking about the characters because they're kind of like at the center of the series. But what they do with Lee Shaw, going from Wyatt Russell in the past and Kurt Russell in the present, I think it's fantastic. And thank the Lord Jesus, Kurt Russell is there because he's saving this series. I feel like he can take some line that's on paper very boring and very generic, and kind of like bring some gravitas to it.
This is not Kong. and it's not Godzilla.
His facial expressions, his aura, his charisma, and he always has something to bring to the table in the way that he delivers his line. I mean, he's a legendary actor, and they're very, very, very lucky to have him on this project, because otherwise I feel like it would be more difficult to watch. Also, I really love the opening titles. Let's talk about it. Like, every time an episode starts, I'm looking forward to that opening title, and the music from Leopold Ross is fantastic. Just the theme song. I love to hear it every single time. But even when there's some action or some emotional moments, Leopold Ross music is really elevating the whole material to another level. I really love what he did to to that series, because it's kind of tough to do what Bear McCreary did with Godzilla King of the Monsters. Still one of my favorite soundtracks from the Monsterverse. So yeah, the music, absolutely adore it. Visually, it's stunning. Great visual effects and everything. It's just, I feel like it's the script sometimes that needs some work, and maybe it's stretched out too much. Like I said, it feels like one of those episodes from the Godzilla animated series stretched out into a whole season. So not everything is interesting, but I do love the aspect of corporate espionage, kind of a spy thriller. They go like they try to infiltrate those big corporations, trying to expose them, and all that because of Godzilla. So Godzilla is kind of like in the back seat. We don't really see him, but still always present in a way because of all the aftermath. They call it G-Day in the series, so what happened in 2014. So this is something that's kind of interesting in a way, but I do have like, there's some moments I'm just like watching it, like, come on, man, where's the big guy? So that's something about it. Also, in terms of like the structure of the season, I do wonder if they should have just released the whole season, because I felt like it was kind of binge-worthy. I know I keep saying it's a little bit slow, but like one episode would end kind of like on a cliffhanger, and I'm just like looking forward to start the other one. I don't know if it's gonna work on a week-to-week format, like bring a lot of people every week, because of what the issues I mentioned before. I feel like it's not as interesting as it should be, but when you're in it, you kind of just want to eat them all up. So this is just something I thought I had. I wonder if it would have been a better thing to just release all of them, because I feel like the last episode is gonna be released in May. So I'm just thinking about people who have to wait every week. I feel like some people are just gonna like bail out on the show at some point. I don't know, that's just my opinion. I was lucky enough, I saw the whole season 2 thanks to Apple TV, and I really liked going from one episode to another and see where the story evolves, even though I have some issues with it. But overall, kind of worried about the week-to-week format for them. I don't know if the people are gonna, like, it has that hook that people will go back to every week. So yeah, overall, what do I have to say about it? Great stuff visually, story-wise, less so. Some of the characters really hit and miss. I don't like some of the, like Billy's grandchildren. They do something with Kate that's interesting. Kentora, not a big fan. I love Kirstie Clemens as May. It's kind of an interesting character. She has like a certain range, and she's not she's on a gray zone, like not always black and white. So that's something I like about it. The Monarch guy, kind of like that dude. He's funny and he brings something to the table, but then again, it's always like someone's working, someone's not working for me. So kind of like a mixed bag in terms of those characters, and I feel like if you have a series, you need to have interesting, compelling characters, which is not always the case here. But at the end of the day, when the kaiju shows up, they delivered. I absolutely adored all of those sequences. And yeah, you know, I mean, it's a Godzilla show. So yeah, Godzilla shows up at some point, and when he shows up, I mean, you're kind of like, I'm a simple man. So when I see a kaiju, I kind of like jump out of my seat and get all all giggly and like, let's go. So this happens in that series a couple of times. So yeah, I do recommend it. I would give it a better score than I did the previous season. So Monarch Legacy of Monsters Season 2, I would give it a 7.5 out of 10. So yeah, it's gonna drop on Apple TV. I feel like this Friday, February 27th, the first episode. And then they're going to release them weekly every Friday. So yeah, that's my review for Monarch Legacy of Monsters. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe.